So I have taken away every single player from the Fulham squad and every single member of staff. Let's see what will happen. So what is going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. My name is Paul, also known as the Northman. If you are new here, make sure you do go down and subscribe to the channel as we close in on 2,000 subscribers just in time for Christmas. That'll be a very welcome Christmas gift. So, in this experiment, I have removed every single player from the Fulham squad, and I have also removed all of the important staff. A couple of them somehow snuck in there, but I've got rid of all of them. So we don't have any coaches, we don't have a head of youth development, we don't have an assistant manager, etc, etc, etc. Now what I have done is I've given Fulham half a billion in the bank. That bit's kind of irrelevant. A 200 million transfer budget and 2.5 million wage budget. So we have a decent wage budget to spend. We have 200 million, which sounds like a lot, but if you look at 30 million for a good Premier League player, you're not going to pick up many. So we need to look at some frees. We need to look around the world. We need to see how we can survive with Fulham in the Premier League, starting with nobody, no staff, no players, nothing. Just me. On my own, dangling my feet, bored. So I've added some stuff. A disclaimer here. I've signed some players and a couple of them aren't even going to play. That was obviously going to happen somehow. So we brought in some physios, etc. You can see here, head physio, for example, is Samuel da Costa, a German. We've got an English, a Belgian and a Brazilian. Getting the nationalities in there. Recruitment team, I brought in some staff, some scouts. David Trezeguet, by the way, is coming as one very nice looking scout on this year's Football Manager. Our assistant manager for this season is former Manchester United assistant manager Mike Phelan. So welcome to the club, Mike, because you are going to be handling training. We got a set piece coach who's not actually very good at it, because it appears nobody in Football Manager is very good at it. Might start setting my own manager to be the set-piece coach because nobody else can handle it. I brought in Lee Cattermole to make sure we smash up a few people during training games. Teddy Sheringham joins us to make sure the strikers know where the back of the net is. I brought in Kolo Toure because I couldn't get his brother, so the next best thing. Then we just added a few more coaches to fill out the backroom staff, but I'm fairly pleased with how our backroom staff is looking. But let's get on to the transfer side of things. So the first player we signed is Jonathan Mitchell. He is a goalkeeper. He is now our fourth choice. He's not that good. Wilfred Gnotto comes in from Leeds United for 16.25 million. I think that's a good bit of business. He looked quite good at Leeds. Didn't score many goals, but he looked quite good. Mohamed El Neni comes in for 9.75 million. I think he's a very solid defensive midfielder, and compared to the rest of the people in the squad when we signed him, he was by far the best, because he was the only one. Stuart Armstrong joins us for 6.25 from Southampton. Again, quite a solid player. Again, when he joined us, our best central attacking midfielder, because he was our only one. That joke will continue. The quality goalkeepers join us again, with Joe Lewis coming in. Now, I did try to avoid anyone who had actually just been released by Fulham when I took over this and did this experiment. So, but he was a Fulham in the past, but he's not been there for a while. He's been at Aberdeen, but he's come back as our third choice keeper now. Jesse Lingard comes in because I don't know how to do it. So I signed Danny Rose. Turned out I couldn't register him at one point, but I signed him. Matt Loughton comes in. He was awesome at Burnley, and in my head at this point of the transfers was 4-4-2. I just had a title of 4-4 FM24 and just had a vision. That vision didn't work, but I had a vision. I mean, this backs up my vision, doesn't it? Coming in former Fulham player, Goodmanson, comes in from Burnley for 2.7 million. Bit steep for a 32. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. You can see no major spend so far. We have 200 million. I've been smart. Is this a major spend? 13.25 million for Jacob Murphy. Signed mainly due to how well he's doing in real life at the minute. I had my rose-tinted glasses on when we picked him up. I signed the smallest centre-back possible, although it says he's 6 foot. I didn't believe it. Malang Sarr for 6.75 million from Chelsea. I don't think that's a bad signing. That's a fairly cheap deal to pick someone up from Chelsea, but hopefully it can be a very solid centre-back for us. I know what you're thinking. Why? We had no players. Be nice to me. Papadopoulos comes in from Olympiacos. Well, Olympiacos was his last club. From Arsenal, Dortmund, Milan. He's got a CV. He's got a CV. Probably not going to really play, but he's got a CV. Comes in on a free. Another free transfer. Our main goalkeeper, David De Gea, former Man United goalkeeper, comes in on a free transfer. That's good business, right? That's good business. Hopefully you thought it was, because signing a 34-year-old Jerome Boateng smacked of desperation, but he actually turned out to be quite good. Couldn't see all of his attributes when I signed him. It was almost a punt. A punt in the dark. At this point I realised I didn't actually have a striker, so Che Adams has come in for 14.5 million from Southampton. I think it's a good, solid signing. Hard-working, very hard-working player. I've picked up quite a lot of good, hard-working players. Following up on that, our biggest signing of the summer so far, £30 million for Scott McTominay. I like that signing. Come on, give me praise. That's a good signing. Just keeps on going. Just keeps on going. Donny van der Beek joins us for 12.5 million. I think that's a good sign. Our best attacking midfielder. I think he overtakes Stuart Armstrong. He's a good player. Donny van der Beek and McTominay in centre mid. I'm impressed with that. Scott McKenna for 5.75 million comes in as one of our options in defence. Good signing. Former Premier League with Nottingham Forest. It was at this point I kind of came to the conclusion that maybe Danny Rose can't go in as our first choice left back. So because Kurzawa from PSG comes in on loan for the season, I think it's a good loan signing. I did panic about El Neni as our best defensive mid. So Patrick Berg comes in from Werder Glimt, and our midfield just has 17s for teamwork all over and work rates of 16 and above. I'm loving it. I am loving it. Oh, he cost us 7.5 million. Guillermo Fernandez joins us from Boca Juniors for 4.6 million. Adds more depth in centre mid. Turns out we actually do need some backups in centre mid, and 4 is not enough. So we've started to look for some extras. So I expect a few centre mids popping in at the end. But first, let's go to our backup goalkeeper. Costing us £1 million from Celtic. It's Joe Hart. Sound like some really bad blind date. And coming round the corner next. I'm not going to lie. I think I got desperate at this point. I saw the loan signing. I took it. Is he Premier League level? Not at all. But we still signed him. Jack Henry Francis on a loan from Arsenal. Oh, by the way. Also agreed. Where's it at? It should be okay, don't matter. It's a squad player. Thought I agreed important. Forget about that. I like this signing. Backup defender, backup centre mid, backup defensive mid. Sanders a star player, but nobody has to tell him. Pablo Rosario comes in. Now maybe he could take over Berg in defensive mid, but I kind of like Berg, so I'm not sure. But either way, he looks impressive. I promise we're nearly done. Mergim Vojvoda, a Kosovo right back. Now again, like Danny Rose left back, Lawton maybe can't be our first choice right back. So this guy's come in. He's not great, but he's all round solid. And only costs us 6.5 million. And I can go back like this now because we only have one more sign to look at, which is Emiliano Martinez, who is another centre mid, another one with high determination. Comes in from Michelin for 2.8 million, which means we spent £150 million building our squad, building our team, putting F1 together, and we picked up some injuries. McTominay's out, El Neni's injured again. But apart from that, we look quite decent. We've got De Gea, Kurzawa, Sarr, McKenna, Vojvoda, Rosario, Berg, Van der Beek, Murphy, Lingard, Gnotto. On the bench, Joe Hart, Boateng, Armstrong, Fernandez, Gudmundsson, Martinez, Adams. Henry Francis, and Lawton. And then not even making on the bench, we have Lewis, Papadopoulos, Rose, Elneny, and McTominay. And then in our under-21s, I mean, we've got depth. We've got Mitchell. We've got a nomadic goalkeeper in our under-21s, just making up the numbers. We're spending 1.4 million on wages. So we have over $1 million free. We have 41 million to spend. I mean, check us out. We are smashing this. I mean, will this team keep us in the Premier League? Comment below your thoughts on that. But let's jump forward and let's have a look, see how the first half of the season went. Okay, so the first half of the season, let's point out, by the way, that I couldn't play friendly until the 19th because we were that short of players, and then we could only put half a squad out. But we started with the draw against Crystal Palace, then we lost quite a few games in a row. And we lost to Man City, Everton. We lost to Palace in the EFL Cup 2-0. Then lost to Liverpool. Then got another draw against Villa before our first win of the season with Lingard and Murphy on the score sheet. Away to Burnley was followed up with a 3-1 victory against Newcastle with Kurzawa, Adams and Vojvoda on the score sheet. A very successful October saw us get a draw away from home against Forest before beating Brighton at home, Adams with 2, Murphy and Knotto, before 0-0 away to West Ham. A quite disappointing November saw us only pick up a point with new signing Martin Braithwaite on the score sheet, which we'll look at in a second, before losing to Chelsea and Man United. And then looking at December, very disappointing. We only picked up 3 wins, 4 defeats. We beat Brentford 1-0, Elneny with a penalty. Beat Sheffield United 2-1, Braithwaite and McTominay. And then we beat Man City to end the year with Vojvoda and Murphy on the score sheet. Now, if we go back to the transfers, 2 to look at there is the fact that we did bring in Diamande from FC Northman for 5 million to add a bit more depth in attacking mid, and also Braithwaite for 6 million because we were short on the width and attacking positions, and he's been okay. 3 goals, no assists, but I've not used him really on the left wing. I've kind of tried to push him in as a striker most of all, but I'm fairly pleased with how the first half of the season has gone. We're sitting in 14th place, 20 games gone. We are, 9 points clear of the drop of Everton, who are actually doing quite well, but their minus 10 points really did kick them in the teeth. Now, looking at our squad, I think we still lacking width. We still maybe lacking in central defence quality-wise, so I would like to add to them 2 positions. I am in the process of trying to do that, but it's just about go pushing on, seeing how we can do. Lingard's played 20 games, so's Rosario, by the way. Both of them been mainly getting in there. They've just been looking solid when they've played, so I've been giving them the football. De Gea picked up an injury, unfortunately. He is due to return tomorrow, though, but I think Joe Hart will probably get some football in the next few months because De Gea's not been amazing. You remember when Man United wanted rid of him? He's playing kind of like that. Okay, so we've jumped forward to the end of January, and I did pick up 2 signings. 185 million now spent. Now, a couple of players did leave us. Papadopoulos left, Boateng left, and Goodmanson left as well. All 3 just wanted more football. They've all moved on a bit. We were maxed out at 25 players in our squad registration, so that did free up a couple of spots to bring some people in. So Harry Maguire comes in from Man United for 12.5 million. That's a steal. So he's going to play in central defence for us now. I did say we needed more depth. And Dwight McNeil for 11.25 million from Everton, I think is a very solid wide player to come in and can play in that basic central wide position as well, because I would like to maybe start dropping him back a little bit more. At the end of February, we're now sitting in 15th with 23 points still. Oh no, we were in 14th before. Yeah, we had a bad month. Let's recap it. Oh, this one, by the way. Oh, my head was in my hands. I said I would give Joe Hart football. I did say it. So we lost to Palace 1-0. We then lost to Bristol Rovers 2-0. Before losing 2-1 to Everton. Adams on the score sheet. And then we lost to Liverpool 3-0. That one's a little bit more forgivable. The Everton one, I think we could have won. Bristol Rovers, we definitely should have won. But we need to start picking up some points in these games left. But let's jump forward and let's see if building an entire squad is possible and you can survive in the Premier League. And it would have been nice to get Europe, but survival will do. So welcome to the end of season. And after a tough few months, we got 2 points in February against Burnley and Newcastle. Our only victory in the second half of the season came at home to Chelsea with Gnocto and Van der Beek on the score sheet. But what I want to point out is a 1-1 draw on the final day of the season against Tottenham, with McKenna scoring, kept us in the Premier League, joint on points with Luton, minus 23 goal difference, then minus 43. Depressing thing is I was going to do this with Crystal Palace, but they expected top half, and I thought it might be a bit tough when you don't start with a single player. Fulham just wanted to avoid relegation. I mean, we did it. We did do it. What do you think? What do you think? Our top goal scorer for the season then, with 6 goals with Che Adams, Jacob Murphy with 5, Gnocto with 4, Van der Beek, Braithwaite with 3 apiece. Top assist maker with 7 assists was Jacob Murphy, Berg with 3, Van der Beek with 2, McTominay and also McNeil also got in there with 2. So I think clearly, we didn't get a goal scorer. We didn't get a player who scored enough goals in the team. Maybe we would have got more assists if we had a better goal scorer. Maybe we needed someone who got more assists. So David De Gea played the most minutes. Van der Beek was second. McTominay, Vojvolda, McKenna, Murphy, Sarr, Berg, Kurzawa, Lingard. I think we built a decent team. Like, that's not the worst Premier League team. And we built it in one season. We built it with under 200 million in the bank. We built it well under our wage budget. The club goes in the next season with some money. It wasn't the worst. It wasn't the most unsuccessful, but it also didn't fill us with joy and excitement. There wasn't many times to come back and report cup runs or anything special. But it was interesting to see if we could build a full squad in one transfer window and survive in the Premier League. I've been Paul, also known as the Northman. I want to thank you for watching. Make sure you have subscribed, and I'll see you next time.